Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you love captivating stories about men transforming into women in unique and fascinating ways, then be sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. Now, let's jump right into today's tale.
Chapter 4. The Training Regimen. The first time Naruto caught his reflection in the mirror after the transformation had progressed significantly, he nearly fell over. He had walked into Tsunade's lab early that morning, his usual bounce dulled by exhaustion from the weeks of grueling medical procedures. But when he passed the full-length mirror near the wall, he stopped dead in his tracks. For a moment, he didn't recognize himself at all. The figure staring back at him wasn't the boisterous, scrappy kid I'd always seen. It was someone else entirely. His shoulders, once broad and strong, were now narrow and delicate. His torso had slimmed down drastically, his waist so small it practically disappeared when he turned sideways. His hips, infuriatingly, had widened, curving into long, shapely legs that seemed almost too graceful to belong to him. And his face, it wasn't his anymore. His jawline was soft, his cheekbones high and elegant, and his once mischievous blue eyes now looked strikingly feminine, framed by long lashes that he swore hadn't been there before. Naruto turned to the side, his hands awkwardly patting down his new figure. What the? I look like Samui. Tsunade finished as she entered the room, her arms crossed. Exactly, as you're supposed to. Naruto whipped around to face her, his face burning red. This is so weird, Granny. I mean, look at me. I've got hips. And my legs are so long I feel like a giraffe. Tsunade rolled her eyes. You're being dramatic. Dramatic? Naru yelped, motioning toward his reflection. I don't even look like me anymore. I look like some kind of woman. Tsunade finished dryly. That's the point, Naruto. You're supposed to look like a woman. A specific woman, in fact. And you're almost there. Almost. Naruto groaned, running his hands down his face. What's left? Are you gonna shrink my brain too? Tsunade smirked. Don't tempt me. By the time the physical transformation was complete, Naruto's body was a perfect replica of Samui. But looking the part was only half the battle. Now came the hard part, acting the part. All right, Naruto, Tsunade said, as she stood in front of him in the training room they'd set up for his lesson. You've got the body. Now you need to learn how to move, speak, and fight like Samui. This mission depends on you being able to fool even her closest allies. If you slip up, even for a second, it's all over. Naruto groaned, slumping against the wall. Yeah, I get it. No pressure or anything? Sakura, standing off to the side with her arms crossed, raised an eyebrow. Naruto, this isn't a joke. You can't just charge in like you always do. Samui is calm, collected, and serious. You need to learn how to carry yourself like a professional. Naruto scowled. I can be professional? Sakura snorted. You once tried to sneak into the Hokage's office in a frog costume. It was a genius plan. Naruto snapped. How was I supposed to know? She'd have a guard dog in there. That guard dog was Shitsu's pet pig. Tsunade deadpanned, pinching the bridge of her nose. Focus, Naruto. We're starting with Samui speech patterns. The art of speaking like Samui. Naruto sat stiffly in the middle of the room, his legs crossed uncomfortably, as Sakura paced in front of him. Samui doesn't yell. Sakura explained, her tone patient but firm. She speaks softly and directly. She doesn't ramble. She doesn't talk with her hands. And she definitely doesn't end every sentence with, "Believe it?" Naruto raised an eyebrow. "What's wrong with my catchphrase?" "Everything," Tsunade muttered from her seat nearby. "No, try again." Naruto cleared his throat, puffed out his chest, and did his best impression of Samui's cool, detached demeanor. "I am Samui. And I believe it." Sakura groaned. "No, just no." "You're overthinking it," Tsunade said, leaning back in her chair. "Samui's not trying to impress anyone. She's confident but reserved. Focus on being calm, collected. Calm and collected." "Got it," Naruto mumbled, closing his eyes. He tried again, this time lowering his voice and speaking more slowly. "I am Samui. I have important business with the Raikage." Sakura's eyes widened slightly. That was actually not bad. Naruto grinned. "Really? Don't let it go to your head," Tsunade said sharply. "You've got a long way to go. Now get up. We're moving on to body language." If there was one thing Naruto hated more than speaking practice, it was posture training. For hours, Sakura drilled him on how to walk, sit, and even stand like Samui. Every time he slouched or stomped, she smacked him on the back of the head. "Samui glides when she walks," Sakura said, demonstrating with an exaggeratedly smooth stride. "She doesn't stomp around like a bull in a china shop." "I don't stomp," Naruto argued, stomping as he followed her across the room. Sakura raised an eyebrow, and Naruto winced. "Okay, maybe a little, but I'm not used to these legs. They're so long." "Excuses," Tsunade said from the corner, sipping her tea. "Keep practicing." By the end of the day, Naruto's feet ached, his back was sore, and he was pretty sure he'd never walk normally again. But when he caught a glimpse of himself in the mirror, he had to admit he was starting to look, well, convincing. The next lesson was by far the most mortifying. Tsunade had warned him it was coming, but that didn't make it any easier. "Seduction?" Naruto repeated, his face bright red. "You want me to learn seduction?" "It's a critical part of the mission," Tsunade said matter-of-factly. "Samui is known for her composure and her ability to manipulate others. You need to learn how to use your appearance to your advantage." Naruto groaned, burying his face in his hand. "This just keeps getting worse?" Jiraiya, who had somehow managed to sneak back into the room, clapped his hands together. "Now this is a lesson I can help with." Tsunade turned on him immediately, her fist cracking with chakra. "If you so much as breathe near this lesson, I'll send you flying into the next village." Jiraiya grinned, unbothered. "Come on, Tsunade. I'm the perfect teacher for this. I've written entire books on the art of seduction. And I've thrown every one of them into the fire." Tsunade snapped, grabbing him by the collar and hauling him toward the door. "Out." As Jiraiya was unceremoniously tossed into the hallway, Naruto sighed in relief. Thank Kami. Despite his initial embarrassment, Naruto threw himself into the training with everything he had. Day by day, he could feel himself becoming more confident in his new role. He learned how to carry himself with grace, how to speak with authority, and even how to use a well-timed smile to disarm an opponent. It wasn't easy, and there were plenty of missteps along the way. But as the weeks went on, Naruto began to see the mission, not as a humiliation, but as a challenge. And if there was one thing Naruto Uzumaki never did, it was back down from a challenge. By the time the training was complete, Naruto didn't just look like Samui. He was Samui. Every movement, every word, every breath was perfect. He stood in front of the mirror one last time, dressed in Samui's signature uniform, and smirked. Let's do this.